So today what I'm going to show you is another easy peasy recipe, and it's a tomato soup, but it's a creamy tomato soup. And I got this recipe from Food 52 Vegan. And if you're just starting out on this lifestyle, I would not recommend this book because it is a high-fat book, and but it's very easy to modify, and that's what I've done here. So I'm going to walk you through the ingredients. Here is the recipe. And I have done my modifications, as you can see, but it is absolutely delicious. So what we're going to do first, we're going to break it up into two. We're going to do the creamy part here, and then the tomato soup part here. So what we're going to need, and I'm going to have all the ingredients listed below in the description box. You're going to need 1 cup of vegetable broth, and I use an organic low sodium vegetable broth. You're going to need some organic unsweetened plain soy milk or any kind of unsweetened non-dairy milk. You're going to need some nutritional yeast. I've got 3 cups of steamed yellow Yukon gold potatoes. You can put less, you can put more. It's up to you. I've got ½ a cup of cashews, and these have been soaked in hot water for about 10 minutes. And that is going to be the creamy part. Then for the tomato soup part, you're going to need your tomatoes, and I'm using the Cento Italian style peeled tomatoes. You can use diced tomatoes, any kind of tomatoes you want. 1 cup of tomato paste, or 1 can of tomato paste. About 3 cups of, I use a golden, or they call them sweet onions, but you can use any kind of onion, basically. And then 1 tablespoon of garlic. That's about 2 garlic ears, chopped. And then for your spices, I've got them right here. Oregano, basil, parsley, and thyme. And then a pinch of chili flakes, or red pepper chili flakes. And that's it. So we're going to start off with the creamy part. And what we want to do is we want to put all of our ingredients that we've got here into the Vitamix, because we're going to puree this. Now, because I've got my 3 cups of potatoes, I may need to add about ½ a cup of water to this. You can add water, or you can add some more vegetable broth. It's whatever you want. That is it for that. And we're going to put this in our high-speed blender, and we're going to mix it. And this is what it should look like when it's done. Just a really nice, creamy, runny sauce. And it's really yummy. Okay, now we're going to move on to our tomatoes soup part. So let me put this stuff away and then we'll come back. Okay, so right now our pan is nice and hot. I've got some water that I poured in because this is an oil-free recipe and it's sizzling. And we're going to pour in our onions, and I'm just going to fry these, occasionally stirring them for about 8 minutes. Now if you see that they're sticking, just pour a little bit more water and they'll become unsticked. So we'll be back in 8 minutes. Okay, so these have been cooking for about 8 minutes, and they're kind of browned and looking delicious. And now we're going to add the garlic. And we're going to just mix this in for like 2 to 3 minutes. And just keep adding water. As you can see here, there's a little sticking right there in the corner. All I'm going to do is just add a little bit of water, and it all goes away. So what I like to do is I like to add all my spices first before I add the sauces, because it kind of awakens them and mixes them with all the hot onions. Just add a little bit of water there. And I just mix these in just for a few minutes, or seconds actually. Now I'm going to add all of the rest of the ingredients. So our tomatoes. Okay, so these are, as you can see, peeled, and I'm just going to squeeze them in here, smush them with my fingers, and just put them in soup. And you don't have to do them really squished because you're going to puree this when it's done. Now, if you want to make it easy for you, then just get the already chopped and peeled tomatoes. That way you don't have to squish them. Now I'm going to add my paste. Now what I also like to do is I like to fill this can, rinse it off in here, just fill it up with water. And it's the perfect measurement to add to the soup. Like that. And we're going to add our creamy potato mixture. And we're just going to mix it all in, and we're going to heat it through and let it cook for a few minutes. But I'll show you what it looks like when it's all mixed together. Okay, so it's all mixed in and it's starting to bubble. And what you want to do is, you can see, is we're going to put it on simmer, low, and just cover it and let it cook for about 20 minutes. And then we'll be back. Okay, so it's been about 25 minutes and the soup is ready. I've turned it off. And the last step we're going to do is we're going to take a hand mixer, and I'm using this little hand blender here, and I'm just going to puree everything all together and make it really creamy. Okay, so that's about it. The soup is ready. I'm going to let it sit for about 10 minutes just to kind of cool down a little bit, and then you guys will see how we're going to eat. Okay, so this is dinner, how it's served, and we've all got our tomato soups. And then this is my bread. I just made it into little buns and I cooked it so it's nice and crispy. That way you can dip in the soup. We've got some steamed Brussels sprouts with a little bit of lemon juice. I've got my beets, baked beets with some red onions. And then here I've got some Faro. And this, I cooked it for about 25 minutes. And I like to add it to my soup. So I've got it on the table for anyone who wants to add that. And that's dinner. Thanks for watching.